time, we're going to be looking at, from the DC Universe Classics, Series 16, the Creeper. Now, the Creeper first makes his appearance in Showcase number 73 in 1968. And taking a look at the back of the card here, of course, you have the larger size card backing here for some reason. You got the picture, the biography, and statistics, as well as pictures of the other figures in the wave, and the Collect and Connect figure Bane. Now, sculpt-wise, this is a pretty cool figure. I really like the face here. It really reminds me of one of the inspirations for the Joker, a silent movie called The Man Who Laughs. Main character up there who is horribly scarred, much like the Joker, into having to smile all the time. And here's that picture. So you can see the similarities there. Again, that was a very big inspiration in the creation of the Joker. Just being, what, maybe 10, 15 years before. Now, you might see the great big huge, what's supposed to be a feathery boa type wrap or cape thing here. Although made of soft plastic here, and this is very, very thick, and thus makes the character very back heavy. It doesn't help that his feet are bent out of shape. Again, probably because of the way he was posed in packaging, with the very dynamic pose. That's a big problem with this figure, because it's hard to get a pose of him standing without using a base here. And even with that base, it becomes a little bit of a task. But it does give him a little bit more stability, and I'll probably leave him on that stand. Now, the paint here is very good. This nice kind of a two-tone yellow in here. I don't know if my camera is picking up, but around certain areas there's a slight subtle change in the color there, which just gives you a nice shading effect. And very nice, the green trunks stand out very nicely against the yellow, as does the green of his hair. He doesn't come with any accessories, and I wouldn't expect the Creeper to. His head goes side to side, up and down. Very nice. His arms do go all the way around. You do have to pull him out a little bit to get past the boa thing there. He rotates at the bicep. Double joint at the elbow, although I do wish they kind of would have painted the inside of the joint there black to match the glove there, and they did the same thing over here. It's not as apparent over here, because you can kind of forgive it, but this one, it's just too big there to ignore that. Upper torso articulation, mostly forward, again because the boa rotates at the waist. Legs go forward, back very nicely, out to the side, rotate at the lower thigh, double knee joints, and his ankles bend slightly, which I do not I have a real trouble with the ankle joints here, especially since the Creeper is kind of known for his really odd and wacky poses. You know, being drawn by Ditko, it's almost Spider-Man-esque in the way that he can contort his body. I don't think these ankle joints really give you very many options to do that with the figure. You have to use the base here to really get to some of those more bizarre and odd sort of creeping poses. That's one of my problems with the figure. Wow, look at that. Paint coming off on the floor. I don't know. The Creeper has really gone through a lot of different origins through the years. Even in his initial appearances. He first appears in Showcase in '68, of course being a Steve Ditko creation. In that version, he's a talk show host who is fired by the network for his outspoken opinions. And thus he's forced to become a security guard. And that's where he meets Dr. Vincent Yates, whom he saves from kidnappers by infiltrating a costume party with this outlandish costume. During his rescue of Yates, he is shot, and Yates gives him this formula along with this activator device. What these two things do is they give him a rapid healing factor and advanced agility, and the activator device can recall this costume from somewhere. So no matter what he's wearing, he hits the activator device and this costume appears on him. And he continues, he says, well, I'm going to continue to fight crime like this. And he actually has access to his healing factor and his agility powers as a regular person. It's the device that makes him into the Creeper. Now, that's revised slightly later on to give him a more modern treatment. And in that revision, Ryder was actually drugged when he was given that device and serum. When he's given that device to save his life, the activator returns him to the state when he got it. So he returns him to the costume and his drugged state to sort of explain why he's so wacky. It also adds to the premise that the longer Ryder remains the Creeper, the more irrational he will become. And once he reverts back to Ryder, the effect ends. So the next time he becomes the Creeper, he starts out basically at ground zero, and for every period of time, hour or so, he gets worse and worse until he again reverts back to Ryder. Now, he only has his powers as the Creeper. He also has no control over the change. So it's completely random. Now, post-Crisis basically picks that up. runs with that as the origin. He does get his own series, and in that he had his own arch-villain, the shape-changing Proteus, and he quote-unquote died in the last issue of that series. But he continued to make guest appearances, mainly in the Bat titles. In 2006, his origin was again revamped, giving him the origin that is what's on the back of the package there. Again, it's revised a little bit later in the Reign in Hell miniseries, in that it's revealed that the Creeper persona is actually a demon that possesses Jack Ryder, which I don't know if they've fully integrated that into the DC universe at large. I do find the best sort of origin for me was in the New Adventures of Batman, or Batman the New Adventures, whatever, the continuation of the animated series in the 90s, where he's a TV host who basically ticks off the Joker so much that the Joker dumps him in the same chemicals that made him the Joker, and he becomes the Creeper. He's not quite a villain, not quite a hero. He can be zany, yet heroic at the same time. And I love that in that story, he becomes so much of a menace to the Joker that the Joker begs Batman to put him in jail or Arkham Asylum, just so that he can get away from the Creeper. I wouldn't mind seeing more of that in the DC universe. I do know that recently he joined the Outsiders, but I haven't been reading that title, so I don't know how he's been portrayed in that. That's been my look at the DC Universe Wave 16, The Creeper. And until my next review, see you.